Okay, so I'm joined now with Erdington candidate for UKIP, Andrew Garcarz. Andrew, what would you like to see happen to the Erdington ward? What changes do you think needs to happen?
I'd like to see improvements in job opportunities and in opportunities for school leavers in terms of apprenticeships. I'd also like to see some improvements in social housing and especially the shopping. Erdington High Street is quite dilapidated. It's a combination of charity shops and pound shops and payday loan shops and betting shops. All the decent traders have sort of, all the large retail stores and the chain stores have deserted the place, and we need to look at how we can improve shopping and get people back into that high street.
Okay, so that's the ward, but how do you think the national trend has affected the people of Birmingham?
That's an interesting question. I think the interest in UKIP and the debate that we've caused in lots of different areas, in terms of immigration and in terms of housing and education, has had an impact on the constituency.
Yeah.
I think people are talking more about things that a few years ago they wouldn't have wanted to talk about, and I think we can see the results today in the turnout, that a lot of people that we've spoken to in the street and on the doorstep have said, that they've been Labour voters or they've been Conservative voters, and this time they're going to vote for UKIP because they want to see some real change.
And how do you think UKIP's campaign has gone this year? Do you think it's gone quite well?
I can only talk about what's happened in my constituency, and I think I've worked as hard as I could for the last 4 or 5 months with very limited resources. We're not a wealthy party, we don't have wealthy sponsors, and we haven't got big union funds behind us and that kind of thing. So I think we've been very effective considering where we're starting and the sort of resources that we've got. We're very, very sort of short on numbers, but we've probably been more effective, I think, than people would expect us to have been. I mean, we may be looking at something like 20% of the vote in some of the wards today, so that's a massive improvement.
And one thing that I really want to ask you is about the recent suspension of Robert Bleh, because obviously that might affect some people's decision to vote UKIP. Do you think that's the case?
I think it could have had an impact, especially on people who hadn't made their mind up at this late stage, and we understand that, there could have been quite a few million people who were sort of undecided, and something as important as that could have certainly affected how people might vote on the day. It's unfortunate, and there are idiots in all parties. Who knows if it was intended as a joke that went wrong. It's not the sort of thing you expect from a professional politician, and it's regrettable.
Yeah. And last question, what would you like to see from today's results?
I'd like to see a UKIP victory in one of the constituencies across the West Midlands, but hopefully we will see some, perhaps in Dudley and perhaps Walsall as well, and so on. It would be great to be a good second or third place, and to have really improved our share of the vote, which might then give us some leverage towards looking at proportional representation in the future.
Andrew, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.